So what are genes? Genes are the recipe for making your body the way that it is. Our genes provide instructions which tell our bodies to look and function in specific ways. Your genes are inherited from your mother and her family, and from your father and his family. Because you inherit your genes from your parents, you may also inherit some of their traits. For example, if your mother has brown eyes, you may also have brown eyes. Or if your father is very tall, there is a chance that you could also be very tall, because you inherited the feature for tallness. So exactly where in our bodies can we find these genes? Your body is made up of billions of cells. Cells are found everywhere in the body. There are cells in your blood, skin, muscles, and organs, for example. Every cell has thousands of genes inside of it. The genes are made up of a material we call DNA. DNA sort of means the same thing as genes. Every gene is responsible for providing specific instructions, like a recipe for baking a cake. Each instruction in our genes tells our bodies how to grow, work properly, and stay healthy. Your parents each pass on one copy of their genes to you, so that you have one copy from your father and one from your mother. Just because genes are passed on from your parents does not mean that you will look and be exactly like them. For example, if both of your parents are tall, it is still possible for you to be short. This is because our genes are randomly passed down over generations. For example, your grandparents might all be short, and even though your parents are tall, you may get the genes for shortness from your grandparents. Genes do not only make up how we look. Genes also provide instructions for things inside of our bodies which we cannot see, but that we need to be healthy. For example, we have genes that influence the shape of our heart or how strong our muscles are. So genes are really important for how our bodies look, and they are important for keeping us healthy. But genes can also make us sick. There are some diseases that are always caused by mistakes in the genes. Sickle cell disease is an example, but that isn't always the case. Our genes do not stay the same. Over time, small changes occur. We call these changes mutations or variations. Most of the time, these small variations or changes don't change anything in our bodies, but sometimes they can cause our bodies to not work so well, or they can make us ill. Most often, however, the small changes that we find in the genes mean that some people are at greater risk of developing a disease. That doesn't mean that they will get the disease. It only means that they could get the disease. For the disease to actually happen, other things also need to happen. For example, if you have genes that mean that you are at risk of developing diabetes, then that does not mean that you will definitely get diabetes. If you exercise, walk everywhere, and eat healthy food, then you can stay healthy. But if you eat unhealthily, don't move, and have genes that mean you can develop diabetes, then you could be at greater risk. This is the same as saying that there is a risk you can end up in an accident if you drive a car. Saying that there is a risk doesn't mean that you will end up in an accident. And you can take precautions, for instance, wearing a seatbelt and not speeding. In the same way, you could increase your risk of ending up in an accident, for instance, if you use your phone while driving. Similarly, genetics can also tell us whether people are at greater risk of developing a disease. It can tell us about things that people could do to avoid developing this disease, or things that could cause the disease to develop. But most of the time, genetics cannot confirm that we will definitely get sick.